Welcome to Dirty Mutt Para Reviews, where we examine paranormal footage with a critical eye and an open mind. While some videos may be authentic and others completely fabricated, our goal is not to judge the creators, but to apply a standardized review system that assesses consistency, plausibility, and presentation. This channel does not endorse or discredit any content, but instead invites viewers to think critically and explore the unknown together. HorrorXiaoLong is a Chinese paranormal exploration channel on YouTube, led by HorrorXiaoLong, who is recognized by fans as the #1 ghost hunter in China. He investigates haunted locations across China, such as abandoned hospitals and factories, aiming to document supernatural phenomena. HorrorXiaoLong's work has garnered a substantial following, with viewers appreciating his commitment to exploring eerie and mysterious sites. In the opening scene, the cameraman carefully arranges an offering of food on a makeshift table near the entrance of a corridor, presumably as a gesture of respect to any lingering spirits. As part of the ritual, the cameraman shapes a simple image from rice or flour, an age-old gesture meant to honor or invite spirits. Made from natural, perishable materials, it symbolizes purity and respect, marking the offering as intentional and sacred. As the exploration begins, small paper notes are carefully placed across doorways, believed to act as spiritual seals or warnings. In traditional rituals, these notes are thought to protect the living, ward off malevolent entities, or alert the crew if unseen forces disturb them. To set the atmosphere and perhaps to ward off more than just insects, the crew lights incense in the form of mosquito coils. The slow-burning smoke is believed to purify the air, calm restless spirits, and act as a subtle signal, its disturbance hinting at unseen movement in the room. As the cameraman waits in silence, a faint knocking echoes from behind a nearby door. He approaches cautiously, only to find no one there. The door creaks slightly, shifting on its hinges without cause. But the moment he steps through the doorway, the knocking stops, leaving only the quiet hum of the camera and an uneasy stillness behind.
"你在这屋里边吗？你们桌子不给对门吗？你上这屋干啥来呀？"
Before taking action, the cameraman checks the door, poking his finger into the locking mechanism and confirming it's locked. After a brief pause, he kicks it open with force, perhaps thinking the sealed doorway was blocking the spirit's path. It feels less like an act of defiance and more like an offering, an invitation for whatever lingers to step through.
你这样式的姐姐， 我敲4声，然后你回应我2声，好吗？这个中间你看这个地方都已经没了，但是我现在这符贴在这个地方了，要不我把灯开吧，试试来。
The cameraman slowly reaches out and removes the small piece of paper affixed to the door. With the barrier gone, he cautiously opens the door and steps inside, sweeping the room with his camera as if searching for something just out of sight.
姐姐，能让我看到你吗？
The cameraman pauses, speaking softly into the silence, an attempt to reach out, to make contact with whatever might be listening. Suddenly, from the left-hand side door, a pale hand emerges, barely visible in the shadows. As if drawn by an unseen force, a nearby object lifts and slides toward it, hovering for a moment, as though caught between gravity and something else entirely. After the chilling moment, the cameraman cautiously approaches the door, eyes fixed on the offering left behind. He gives it a quick glance, one of the snacks gone. Slowly, the camera pans around the doorway, sweeping each corner of the dimly lit room. He checks behind fallen furniture, each movement deliberate, tense. Finally, the camera tilts upward toward the ceiling cavity, dark, still, and empty. Nothing. No sign of what just occurred. Determined to make contact, the cameraman tries once more to draw the spirit forth, his voice calm, steady. Just beyond the offering table, a faint movement catches the lens. Slowly, a head begins to emerge, its features faint but unmistakably female. But before the moment can fully unfold, the footage abruptly cuts, leaving only questions in the dark silence that follows.
他妈真气人！我知道错了。 我知道错了。
The cameraman slowly approaches the table, his breathing shallow, movements tense, an edge of panic creeping in. The offering remains untouched, not a single item is missing. Maybe the spirit panicked, or changed its mind. There are no signs of disturbance, no trace of the figure just seen. But the silence feels heavier now. Unease turns to fear, and the cameraman begins to panic, his lens trembling slightly as the atmosphere thickens around him. Once more, the cameraman calls out, reaching into the silence, hoping for a response. From the corner of the frame, a hand begins to reach forward again, tentative, almost hesitant, as if the spirit fears revealing itself. The cameraman slowly moves closer, careful not to startle whatever presence lingers. The offering remains untouched. But then, he notices a paper note, once fixed to the left-hand doorway, now lying on the floor. No sound, no warning. With growing anticipation, he returns to his seat, eyes fixed on the darkness, waiting for whatever might come next.
我有点紧张了，对不起啊，不是我这个本性，是自然反应。符，我操你！哎呦我操，我不对，我这符怎么折叠了呢？啊！啊！ 我刚才有点冒死了。
The cameraman sets up once more, his lens fixed on the offering table. Moments pass in stillness, until the hand reappears, reaching slowly from the shadows. He shouts instinctively, startling the silence. The spirit disappears once again.
姐，我没上号，他们都以为我上号了呢。 我是紧张那会儿才抽烟的。别着急，别着急。出来了。老师在此赐我法力，天的毛脏话，这里跟我龙话，这里跟我龙话，这里念这里毛，去！
He begins to rig a length of string across the space, perhaps as a trap, or maybe a means to allow the spirit a way to interact physically. The air feels charged, tense, as if something unseen is just beyond the edge of the frame.
哎呀！都小事。
The cameraman waits in tense silence, eyes locked on the string, the stillness pressing in around him. Suddenly, he jolts, something moves. He shouts, startled, as the string twitches violently. On the other end, the spirit pulls back with force. The cameraman grabs hold, and for a moment, there's a struggle, something unseen but undeniably present. Then, through the dim light, the spirits begin to take shape, no longer just shadows, but clearly visible, locked in a silent tug-of-war between worlds. The cameraman once again approaches the table, tension radiating from his every
我不是
step.
故意的。
With a sudden kick, he knocks over the chair, frustration boiling to the surface.
姐姐你
His
在吗
breathing grows heavier as he picks up the spool of string, determined to try again. But just as he nears the table, it lurches violently, thrown toward him with startling force. A burst of chaos erupts, as if the spirit, angered and still hungry, has had enough of being ignored.
你姐姐你没死那嘎吧？嘎吧？我操！ 你不玩不玩呗，你先他妈怎么坐着你啊？把书摘下来。姐姐，我他妈是个小人，你这样式的，我想死，你给我整死行不？你出来给我整死，我不骗你了，你给我整死得了，快点，我活够了。 你再出来一次行吗？哎，你别走啊！
The note in the image appears to be a traditional Chinese talisman, often used in Taoist or folk spiritual practices. These talismans typically contain stylized, symbolic script rather than standard Chinese characters, which makes them difficult, or even impossible, to interpret in a literal linguistic sense. They're meant more for spiritual symbolism than for reading as conventional text. Throughout the footage, glimpses of vending machines, warning signs, and familiar branding subtly reinforce the legitimacy of the setting. These everyday details ground the scene in reality, suggesting the location is a real, once-inhabited space, not a fabricated set. It's a quiet but effective way of assuring the viewer, this place existed, and something strange is unfolding within it. When unusual events occur, the cameraman methodically inspects all surrounding areas, each corner, doorway, and piece of furniture, reinforcing the legitimacy of the encounter. This thoroughness helps assure viewers that the scene isn't being manipulated behind the camera. Ideally, such moments should be captured in a single, unbroken take to preserve authenticity. While in this case some cuts are present, likely for replay purposes, the footage still shows a commendable effort to check every visible part of the room, lending credibility to what's been captured. When the entity appears, there's something subtly off about the shadowing. It seems to cast a shadow onto its surroundings, but oddly, no shadow appears to fall upon it. While this could be influenced by many factors, lighting angles, surface reflections, or camera limitations, it adds an eerie inconsistency. In the context of paranormal phenomena, such unnatural behavior might not be a flaw, but a sign, an expected abnormality in an already abnormal event. This is a genuinely intriguing video, well put together and thoughtfully executed. The cameraman appears to take the experience seriously, maintaining a consistent approach throughout, from setup to investigation. His actions feel deliberate, not theatrical, lending a sense of sincerity to the unfolding events. While there are still some gray areas, moments open to interpretation, the overall presentation leaves a strong impression of authenticity and care. For more information about the original video, please visit the link provided in the description. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, it really helps us out. We'll be working hard to bring you more in the near future. Thanks for watching, and we hope you've enjoyed the experience.